This is Greg Jacobson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of KaiNexus, and I'm super duper excited to share with you our new release. We've stuffed 9 improvements into this release, and I'd like to highlight some of my favorites. All right, let's get started. Notes to attributes. We heard lots of feedback that said, hey, when we put an attribute in, sometimes you want to give a little color to that attribute. And so now we have the ability to configure on your specific attribute. For example, in this we have incident and incident type other. We've configured it where if you select other, you actually get a note here where you can give color to the reason why you selected other. You could actually configure this where each one of these selections could have also given a note. We're really excited to see what you guys do with that. All right, we made tons of improvements to boards. First and foremost, we have added an incident card. So as you know, in the prior release, we released incidences, and now you can create all of the workflows that you can with all of your other elements like improvements and projects. You can do that through boards with creating your incident cards. All right, next thing we did was we added Kanban view card. And so we know you guys love Kanban view, and now you can make a card right in a board in that view and kind of go through your workflow like that. All right, let's just keep scrolling down here. We have had a submission and completion report for really since the inception of KaiNexus, and we've now changed that to be called the improvement curve because we've also given you a project curve. So here you can see whenever your projects have started, and also it will show whenever your projects have ended to really see kind of your project curve in KaiNexus. All right, so the last one down here is we have added the ability to view the aggregate financial impact of your improvement or of your project right in your list views now. So you'll notice here I've got a list of improvements and I'm showing financial impact or whatever other impacts were selected here. What used to only be able to be seen in your report section, you now have the ability to see this right in your list views or your tree views, and here I've put a list view in a card and you can see that they're displayed right here. Really powerful stuff. All right. And then the last thing I want to show you is we made a really cool example over here on a strategy board, dashboard, is sometimes the card itself is fairly narrow and you want to show just perhaps 1 or 2 columns on the card view, but then when you expand it into the expand view, you want to be able to see a whole different constellation of columns. Well, before this release, the number of columns that you showed on your card view and when you expanded were the same. We've now added the ability to customize this card in the view. So when I'm looking at tree view right here, if I click on it, I'm going to get this edit card view panel where I can actually configure exactly the columns that are viewed in the card as opposed to the columns that are viewed when you expand it. And so for here you can see I've only selected the color status and title as evidenced by the card back here, but when you expand it, I've expanded the number of columns I want to show. We've also added, you'll see this extra column here called width, so you can now control the exact width of the column, and that's really helpful if your columns are getting cut off because of the amount of real estate you have on the screen. You'll also notice a really neat little checkbox here where specifically in tree view, you can ask for the system to open it all the projects expanded or collapsed. Really super powerful things that we've done to expand functionality on boards. We keep hearing from you guys that y'all are doing most of your work on boards, and the more configuration options and the more features we can keep packing into boards, the better, and so we're listening to that. All right, those are the highlights from 2.1.4. Of course, the full release notes will be at support.kainexus.com. There'll also be a login notice the first time you log in, and you'll be on the new version. I really like to remind everyone we are putting a ton of energy into our blog. We really want to be expanding the conversation about continuous improvement way beyond just our company and our customers. So please, if you haven't checked out our blog, we not only have an improvement blog, but we also have a specific customer blog that talks specifically about topics that you guys would be really interested in to maximize the usage of the technology. You'll notice that we have Karen Ross coming up with a webinar, so that's a great opportunity for me to point out our upcoming webinar section here on our website. Of course, we have a demo on demand. That'll be a new refresh demo on March 22nd, but this is a great one that please tell as many people as you can about this, the How to Coach for Creativity and Service Excellence on March the 28th by Karen Ross. That should be a lot of fun. Okay, well, right before we go, of course, if you haven't found us on iTunes, we are putting a lot of content on iTunes. We're reading a lot of our blogs, so it'll be really easy to consume on your commute into work. So please go find us on iTunes, subscribe to it, and of course, give us a good review. We really like that. And well, this has been Greg Jacobson with KaiNexus, and don't forget to keep spreading continuous improvement.